Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on the video. This is David Pendleton, and I'm going to give you a rookie walkthrough to the Ryder Cup. So first of all, I apologize for getting this out so late. I was planning on doing it this morning, and things just got hectic, and then I had to go to work, and work has been busy. But, here I am trying to get it done to give everybody the info you need for late qualifying and everything you need to chase down, the gold going into tomorrow being the only day that we can shoot this baby in the finals. Now, here's the thing with the tournament. It's hard, okay? We all know that. We're seeing some terrible scores being thrown up, which I like. I prefer it to be this way. I prefer it to be a challenge. Like hole number 5, for example, is a par 5, and it can be a difficult eagle. It should be that way on a par 5. Holes shouldn't be a layup like the last tournament was. It's nice to have a little variety. I guess that's what I'm saying. But here is what happened on my 2 rookie accounts, okay? Minus 12 on both, and that's not a good score. It's good enough to qualify in first on both accounts, but it's not going to be good enough to win the tournament, and I don't really feel comfortable with it being the tiebreaker for a gold. But regardless, that's where we're at, and it is because I screwed up hole 5 on both accounts. I ended up getting a birdie on both accounts, and we're going to show you what to avoid on that. So do me a favor, please subscribe. It really helps me out, and hit the thumbs up button for me. Those 2 things only take half a second. It'd be greatly appreciated. But there's the scorecard. Hole number 1, that's dialed in. That's a pretty good opportunity for an eagle. I dropped it on both accounts, which lined out my minus 12. Like I said, I got a birdie on hole number 5 on both accounts as well. So here we go. Let's go into these replays here. All right, so here's what we're doing on hole number 1. Okay, hole number 1, you can see me moving around here, trying to figure out what was going to be a good line on rookie. I decided to not go with the extra mile. I decided to play this hole just like we're playing it in pro with a quarterback shot. So orange ring on the rough line, 20% elevation, and a katana is plenty good for this hole. As you can see here, I am not using overpower. Okay, so remember that. I am not using overpower, but we are using max right curl. No issues here driving down the fairway. This is a really good shot. It's going to set us up for a nice little thorn shot towards the pin. Now, I can tell you 2 things when it comes to shot number 2. One, you're going to be playing it with 20% elevation, okay? I am going to play the shot that I'm going to show you, and I do know there is a rough bump here. You can do a rough bump, but you don't want to use a thorn, so you want to use something like a Goliath, a Hornet, a runner, something with a good topspin, and you can use a rough bump. But, I find this particular shot on rookie is an easy way to play it. And here is shot number 2. Again, 20% elevation. I went ahead and set this one up at mid-distance with my club. As you can see, I was looking for the rough bump there, but I didn't really need to do it. I can just take a backspin shot, which I'm very comfortable with. I like these backspin shots as long as my ball guideline is showing to the hole. The biggest thing about a thorn is if you use too much backspin, obviously the ball could kick back and miss the cup entirely. But, with my level of thorn, I had a good ball guideline. My ball guideline is going into the cup. And for me, this shot is very easy to make. And like I said, I hit it on both accounts. And we sneak it in there. So, again, you can play that shot or you can play the rough bump. It's up to you. And if you want to know what the rough bump looks like, you can hop over to my pro walkthrough. I've got 2 rough bump shots in there. I know the wind angle is different between pro and rookie, but either way, you'll see the setup and you see how it plays out. Okay, now hole number 2, I'm using 35% on this particular shot. It's a pretty good downhill shot, and I had to kind of mess around with the elevation a little bit in order to get a good line to the hole. But now I have seen opponents in the sand, so let's not do that, okay? Aim it how I'm doing it here. I've got the blue ring of my sniper right there up on the rough line, so I'm leaving myself plenty of room. But now I have seen opponents in the sand, so let's not do that, okay? Aim it how I'm doing it here. I've got the blue ring of my sniper right there up on the rough line, so I'm leaving myself plenty of room. But now I have seen opponents in the sand, so let's not do that, okay? Aim it how I'm doing it here. I've got the blue ring of my sniper right there up on the rough line, so I'm leaving myself plenty of room. But to hit the fairway and bounce over the sand and roll towards the pin. In my opinion, that's going to be the most safe way to play this hole. You know, as you can see, I came nowhere close to the sand. I came nowhere close to the rough. Now, on my other account, I hit a great right shot, so we're not even going to take a look at that. We saw right there by watching this replay, and we'll watch it again, because I think it's important that we can get pretty close to a hole-in-one on this hole. All we have to do is add some top spin. As you can see here, I went with right spin and with left spin, obviously. I decided to go with full left and a little bit over 1 bar of top spin, and I left it, you know, a little bit short, well, pretty well short of the hole, just to see what kind of wind push I would get. So I think we need to switch this up to, you know, around 2 bars of top spin. That way we get a little bit of an extra roll, because we come up about, you know, 2.5 green squares short of the pin. But as you can see by the camera angle, we are aligned with the pin. So that means the elevation works. And a lot of people ask me how I figure out elevation. Well, there you go. So I knew that's going to work. When I took a shot earlier, you know, like on my pro account, 35% elevation, I was way off, so I had to change it to 50. This one, we know 35 is good. Hole number 3. Hole number 3, very simple eagle. And all we're going to do is just take a kingmaker ball, and we're just going to line up here down the middle of the fairway. I'm going to use full left spin, and, you know, I end up settling on a little bit of backspin too, just because I wasn't sure how fast this fairway was going to roll. But we find out that, you know, 1 back with full left spin is a really good way to approach this particular hole. As you can see, I leave myself here with plenty of room on the fairway. There's really no reason to push this drive. You don't need to get all the way up to the top of the fairway. There's no reason to gamble with that and to possibly hit a bad shot. But now we take a look at here, our shot to pin. As you can see, you know, I've got plenty of distance here as my ball guideline is leaving me directly at the pin. I even applied about, you know, 1/4 of a ball of backspin. And go ahead and play this shot at 0%. As you can see here, I didn't use any side spin. I just went with about 1/4 of backspin. And you'll see what happens to the shot. We miss, you know, barely to the left, and the speed is a little bit too much. So I'll probably change that to about 1/2 of a bar of backspin, and then just set up, you know, to the right-hand side of the cup. So instead of aiming my ball guideline into the cup, I'm probably going to move it about 3/4 of a green square to the right, and hopefully that will line our shot back out. But we're going to take this hole as an eagle with a good chance to albatross. If this was a full tournament, you know, if I had more days to qualify and then we had another opening round to get, you know, more looks at this hole, I would say this would be an easy albatross to get lined out. But we'll only get one more attempt tomorrow. So that's what we have to do. We have to play a little bit of a guessing game. I'm going to go 1/2 a bar backspin. I'm going to put my ball guideline 3/4 of a green square to the right part of the hole and hopefully hit a perfect ball and see if we can get that bad boy to go in. Now, hole number 4. Okay, so hole number 4, you can play it 2 ways. You can play it with the Guardian, just like this, and a Navigator. You know, I would say that playing it this way, you're going to play it at 30% elevation with full backspin minus 1 bar, so almost full back. And you can see I use a little bit of right curl. And we got that one really close to the cup. Now, again, not a lot of time to figure out where exactly I need to set up in order to make this thing a hole-in-one. Getting a hole-in-one would be pretty lucky. Now, if you don't want to play that particular Guardian shot, because you can see if we watch the replay again, we get pretty close to the sand line, okay? I'm comfortable with this shot. It's a full backspin except 1 bar. with a full right side spin, which is only one bar with a navigator. And you can see ultimately right here, I put my orange ring on the sand line. So I leave myself 2 rings of distance there, just in case I hit a great right. Now, obviously, a nasty great right is going to put us in the sand. We can't do that. But, ultimately, we hit a perfect ball. And there's the right curl. It's just a little bit of right curl. And let's take a look where the ball hits. So it's not really too close to the sand, but that may be too close for some people. So if you don't like that shot, okay, again, you can switch over to my pro walkthrough, and you could play this the same way with a sniper and a katana, and you would just be bouncing from the fairway onto the next fairway. So basically hopping the gap where that little river is, and then onto the green for an automatic birdie. All right, there'd be really no way to screw that up as long as you pull 30% elevation and the right distance of your club. Either way, I'm taking hole number 4 as a guaranteed birdie. The weird thing about this one is I've already seen people in the sand, and I've seen people out of bounds, so hitting the water. And we're not going to do that. This is too easy of a birdie to mess up on. Okay, here's another shot at it where I tried to see if I could dial in the hole-in-one. So same thing, went full back with 1 right. And I went a little higher up, as you can see, this time, because last time we fell just a little bit short of the pin. I kept the orange ring right there on the sand line, but my second bounce is higher up on the green. I tried to duplicate the right curl. It's always difficult when you're using curl to duplicate exactly. And we're still really close. So I like that shot. I'm going to try to play it even a little bit further up with a little bit more right curl and see if I can get lucky and get that thing to go in the hole. Now, hole number 5, this is the one that I messed up, okay? We can't mess this up if we're going to compete in this tournament, but a lot of people are messing it up, so it's not as deadly as it normally would be. We're playing this one with 0 elevation. And all we need to use is like 4.5 bars of topspin. If you're one of those players that has like an extra mile 8, extra mile 9, don't go crazy with the topspin, okay? As you can see, 4.5 topspin is plenty to get us in a good shot, in a good range for shot number 2. Now, I'll tell you this. Some of you guys and gals who watch me use money balls in tournaments. And that's great. Everybody plays the game exactly how you want to. I would say if you want to use a power 4 or a power 5 ball on this hole, that would be a good option, okay? But I would use something that has decent wind resistance. So like if you have a wind resistance 2 power 4 ball, a wind resistance 3 power 5 ball, I think that would set you up for a good advantage on this particular hole, because shot number 2 is a little bit difficult. You do need to pack a big dog, all right? And we're going to play shot number 2 at 0%. And let's hop into the replay. So as you can see here, I have to go full top spin and full left spin. And I pull this one with no elevation. And I just take a normal shot, but I hit a great right. And a great right is that right there. Now, I was stupid enough to do that not once, but twice. Because what happens when you play this game. When you screw up once in a tournament, and the next time you get to that hole, you're thinking, okay, don't hit a great right, don't hit a great right, because, I'll end up in the sand. And what do? I hit a great right again. So don't make stupid mistakes like I did here. And if that ball wouldn't have rolled into the sand, we would have been pushing close to the fringe or a little bit short, and that would have been a very easy chip in for eagle. But opponents are messing this hole up nonstop, and of course I was no exception to the rule on this one. So let's clean that up and get our score back on track for the final round. Okay, now hole number 6. This gives us a good opportunity here for an eagle. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling this one 20% elevation with my extra mile. And you can see here we're using overpower with right curl. That leaves us with a good shot to approach the pin on shot number 2. You could probably push this one a little harder if you wanted to go with more overpower and more right curl if you have a club that does that. So for some of you people who want to use your APOC, this is a really good hole to use an APOC on, and to even get more curl and put you more, closer, I should say, to the green. So kind of like we do in pro. So again, I keep mentioning pro a lot. But there is a good APOC drive on pro that you could play the same way with this particular hole, which is also in my pro walkthrough. But for me on rookie, I'm going to keep playing that shot because I do like the shot to pin on shot number 2, which you see here. I'm at basically absolute minimum distance with my thorn, okay? Put the ball into the hole, the ball guideline into the hole. Make my adjustment. I play this one minus 20% elevation. It is uphill, and that one hurts. All right, so just a click more backspin, and instead of hopping over the hole, that ball would have dropped. So it's really important to know here, as you're watching this video, that even though we shot a minus 12, kind of think about what we've seen so far. Hole number 1 was the eagle, and I think that's a really easy eagle, the same way it is in pro. Hole number 2, with just a little bit more of top spin, that could have been a hole in 1 because we were lined up directly with the hole. Hole number 3 is the easy eagle. Hole number 4 is the easy birdie. Hole number 5 is just the one that we can't screw up, and we know what not to do. All we got to do is hit a perfect ball, and we're going to be okay. And then you just saw here on hole number 6, this is a really good eagle opportunity. So if we're being greedy, we could drop 3 holes in the first 6 shots, but at minimum, if we just play this right, we can drop 2 extra shots, and that's going to put us pacing on minus 14, which looks like it's going to be plenty to win this particular tournament. So I know scores, people are struggling with scores, but look at the positive of what we saw so far in these shots, and I think we can get out there and win this one. I really do. Okay, so here we go with hole number 7. Not a hole that I like, period. But, I'm going to play at 30% elevation. And as you can see here, I'm lining up with a sniper and a navigator. A navigator is power 1, win 2. It's a really good ball for this particular hole. In fact, it's a really good ball for most rookie par 3s. It's pretty much solely the ball that I use on rookie par 3s unless I have to have side spin. But we end up really coming nowhere close. But the good news is, we're able to get this in for an easy putt to get our birdie. A couple things you can do here with this one is line up further back so the putt's not so far, or we may be able to take a driver like a rocket and go max backspin. Again, same thing I'm doing in pro, so if you want to see what that shot looks like, you can do that. But we don't have to go through all that. I think we can just take the navigator ball with our sniper here, or you could even do a guardian. Okay, you could do a max backspin guardian shot and just land on the green. I don't think this is a good chance for a hole-in-one when we only get a couple looks at it. So don't be too fancy with this hole, everybody. Just take it for the birdie, okay? That's the best advice I can give you on this particular hole. Now we go to hole number 8. So hole number 8 here, I was just kind of looking like what a good line would be for hole number 8. And I thought about, if I can hop this sand here and get us a good shot for an eagle, right? So I'm using a katana, and I'm doing 10% elevation. I'm not trying to do anything fancy here, just a little bit of curl, and we hit a perfect ball. And as you can see here on this drive, I just clipped the rough, which dyed my ball a little bit. Now, that doesn't matter. Obviously, this is a very simple approach here to get the automatic birdie, but we do have a good chance for an eagle. Here's another drive again on my other account. So same spin adjustments. The only thing I did differently this time is I took a little bit of the curl off. So last time I put about half of my ball in the target there on the right curl. This time only about a quarter of a ball. And, we push it further up. But either way, it didn't really change the shot to the pin too much. Now, I took this one with the Goliath. I ended up playing it 0 elevation. Now, you can see I'm using backspin, and I'm trying to just visualize my ball bouncing into the cup. And this is pretty much a max distance shot. I love using the Goliath. It's one of my favorite clubs to use. But on this one, I just didn't like the power. I didn't like how it played after the hop. So I know there's a lot of rookie backbone players. I decided to try to go ahead and use a backbone. Definitely not a club that I use too often. But again, you see here I'm using backspin, and we're pretty much at max distance. And I'm really setting up in the same area. Now, this club was way more accurate than the Goliath, and I believe less powerful as well. I was happy that I was able to hit a perfect shot on both. And this one played a lot better. So, again, we almost snuck this one into the cup. Only thing we have to do is just offset to the right a little bit, and we know that backspin and that speed is good. So, rewind that one, take a look exactly where my final bounce was, and just move it over to the right just a little bit, and you might drop that shot. If this was a full tournament, this would be something that I would post another video on throughout the week, because this would be an eagle that we would be picking up in a full tournament. All right, now hole number 9. Hole number 9, I'm using a Titan ball. And what we really have to do here, everybody, is we need to slam this thing down the fairway. 20% elevation. Using as much right curl as my club allows me to do. The thing is, you don't want to go crazy with overpower, because there's not a lot of room to overpower the shot. If you overpower, you're probably going to miss the fairway and hit the rough. And obviously you don't want to do that. So 408 yards. You can see here that I'm taking the second shot with the sniper. And I just didn't have enough distance on the drive to take a rough bump sniper. So ultimately I settle on a very dangerous shot. So take a look at my target here. Look how close I am to the rough. Obviously a great right shot, and I'm dead in the water. But it was only qualifying, and I figured, why not? Let me see how this shot plays. If you don't have a good sniper, you need to use a different club. So just know that going into this hole, that most rookie players will need to use a big dog. What I would recommend is to use a Horizon. And I would recommend doing a rough bump with your Horizon. And again, I hate to say this, but it's a short week and I didn't have a lot of time for videos. Go to my pro walkthrough and just fast forward to hole number 9, where you'll see me albatross this hole with a Horizon, and you can play rookie the exact same way. Here's a Kingmaker. I was just kind of trying to see what it looked like. But here is my shot with the Horizon on rookie. And again, I just didn't get the drive far enough up the fairway to execute the rough bump. If I could have just got a little bit more power on the drive, but again, I'm afraid to push it too hard because I don't want to clip the rough, but just, like a little bit more power down the drive and a little bit on the right-hand side of the fairway instead of the middle of the fairway, and we can take a rough bump with our Horizon or even with our sniper. But either way, this is an easy hole to eagle, and, if you paid attention to my replays there, you saw my opponents in trouble. They both ended up birdieing this hole. So, be careful for that too. Anyways, that's the walkthrough on rookie level for the Ryder Cup. Thank you for being patient. I really appreciate it. I hope this works out for you. Again, please subscribe and give me that thumbs up. Thanks, everybody.